Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Yasmin Gomes, and I am the marketing specialist at OmniClouds. OmniClouds is the leading provider of ICT as a service. Today, we are presenting a webinar on XDR with SASE for the United Threat Protection, presented by our very own Hassam Uddin, Director of Pre-Sales. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into your chat box to the right, and I'll bring them up at the end of the presentation and we'll address them. We will have the Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to Hassam.
Hello everyone, thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Hassam Uddin and I'm Director of Pre-Sales. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic, which is XDR and SASE and how it can work together to provide unified threat protection to enterprises. So let's kick start. So we're going to start off by discussing a bit about OmniClouds, what is OmniClouds and how OmniClouds can help you. Then we're going to talk a bit about evolution of digital networks and how enterprises are using modern network solutions towards digital transformation strategy. We're going to talk a bit about SD-WAN and how SASE has enforced security into modern enterprise networks. Of course, we're going to talk about XDR, extended detection response, what is XDR in general, how it can help enterprises, and how we can build use cases to integrate SASE with XDR. Then at the end, we're going to talk a bit about a unified approach. That's a very important piece to really understand how XDR can help you to get unified visibility across your network. So let's start with a brief introduction about OmniClouds. So OmniClouds started as a digital service provider to provide ICT services across enterprises and large organizations. So we serve customers all the way from even from SMBs, mid-market to large organizations, government, education, conglomerates, retailers, banks. And essentially what we are doing is we are helping them achieve their digital transformation targets by providing solutions as a service through simple cost structures and more modern technologies which can enable them to become a digital enterprise. So what we have done is basically we have created a ecosystem through SD-WAN based solutions and a global connectivity layer which can help customers to connect not just their global branches but also get access to all the leading cloud providers in the region. So for example, we have 28 gateways connecting across 28 different countries. So all these gateways are connected through our global high-speed MPLS network, and we run SD-WAN as an overlay technology to connect these different point of presence and provide seamless connectivity to customers across different geographies. So we like you can see over here, we have access to almost 1600 cloud providers across the globe, even the regional clouds like Azure, AWS, Google. So all the leading ones are present over here. So we can give you direct low latency express route to these cloud providers. So in the end, what we are helping customers is not just connect their branches securely using SD-WAN. We are also helping customers to access the global clouds using the same SD-WAN fabric, and they can do centralized orchestration, they can do policy enforcement, and of course all the good features that comes with SD-WAN. Now, if we talk about digital transformation, you know, this buzzword has been around in the industry for a while, and most organizations have aligned their strategy to move towards a digital transformation journey. So we see that IT is no longer a cost center. IT has become a revenue center for a lot of customers, and there's so many different I would say silos emerging in any organization, where even marketing is trying to get platforms as a service, SaaS solutions. Similarly, that every different department is trying to consume services in different way or the other. And sometimes the IT is governing all that, but most of the time it's not happening. So what it means is basically customers want to move towards superior customer experience. Enterprise want to move towards superior customer experience for their end customers, but they need modern solutions to do that. So we have seen this evolution journey over the years. So most importantly, customers, enterprise wanted their customers to feel good, whether it's like a retailer, bank, government entity. So customer service has been the most important element, and how we can have the backend technology solutions to enable that superior customer experience. So that's where a new consumption model came into the market. So we had seen before, I would say, the revolution of large scale cloud service providers like Google and Azure. We had seen a lot of different models like private data centers providing infrastructure as a service, connectivity as a service, compute as a service. Even they have their own private virtual clouds, and this is still a quite popular concept, especially in this geography where they're in-country clouds, and they're providing all these services to different customers. So a large enterprise, instead of owning their own data center, are outsourcing these services to them. Similarly, if we see like now, because of the cloud, like AWS, Azure, Google, so this journey has been fast tracked because cloud is the best consumption model to avail ICT as a service. So you can simply spin off a server for a few hours if you want to run an application or maybe launch any services, and then like move ahead with simple pay as you grow model using the CSPs. And further, if we move from cloud to connectivity, so SDN, software defined networking, has been there for a while as well, but it really started to pick up in the recent years. And if we see, SD-WAN is also enabling a lot of customers to connect their branches to the cloud and giving them the same experience which cloud orchestration or cloud service providers have been providing over their platforms. So SD-WAN definitely has helped a lot of these customer challenges to connect to the cloud. Then came the talk about security, and that's where SASE, built on zero trust network architecture, came into the picture. So SASE resolved a lot of problems that customers were discussing regarding how they can secure their branches from every point of entry into their wide area network. So that's where SASE has, and this is, we have seen further evolution, and it's going to evolve further. So let's go further and talk a bit about what SD-WAN and SASE has helped over the years. So if we see over here, SD-WAN has helped customers to connect their data centers, branches directly to the cloud. I'm not going to talk a bit in detail about SD-WAN because it's pretty much understood these days. But we're going to talk a bit more about how SD-WAN can be secured further, and that's where we're going to discuss about XDR and SASE integration. But just to give an idea of about this diagram, so for any customer who has data center, who has cloud locations, for example, they're using any SaaS applications like O365, they want to access internet, they want to access AWS, Azure, Salesforce, all these different well-known application and cloud providers. They can simply do it from anywhere from the branch using SD-WAN device that we can assume OmniClouds can provide as a service, or they could be any remote user, work from home user. So we can have centralized policy enforcement, we can have centralized management, we can have deeper visibility into the network, and orchestration, which is all the good things, which are all the good things that come with SD-WAN. Now, when we see SD-WAN, of course, help solve the connectivity challenges, especially with the emergence of clouds, and customers are able to seamlessly connect from anywhere. But then it has created a new security challenge for the security folks, because now we are allowing branches, we are allowing remote users to connect directly to the cloud. We don't know what data is going to the cloud. Are the laptops secured? Are the branches secured to allow them to connect to their network? So they might be accessing any resources in the data center, which would be very secure. Or are they uploading any files which shouldn't be going into the cloud? So these are certain things which, of course, all the security operations people would be concerned about. That's where SASE came into the picture. So SASE helped provide a modern security solution that can be provided as a cloud service, and it can be enabled securely across any enforcement point throughout your entire SD-WAN fabric. So example, we can have a secure SD-WAN solution implemented in branches where we can have all the latest features like next generation firewall, UTM, secure web gateways, URL filtering to make sure that any traffic going out from the branch to the cloud or to the data center is secured. Similarly, any remote user who is working from home or who is just traveling and they're using a non-secure connection. So with the SASE client, they can be provided the same level of features which a secure branch would be provided, because the security is now inherently in the SASE cloud, which can be delivered as a service to the customers. So essentially, we have built something called the zero trust network architecture, because now we are enforcing and we're not trusting any device, any user, whoever is entering the network, and we're applying policies for every user, for every device before they access any resources. So there are tons of features we can implement, of course, with this architecture, and we get centralized orchestration, visibility, and of course, for the security people, there all the audit logs, all the controls that they want to implement can be implemented, and then it can be further used for additional forensics to see if there are any security threats traversing the network. Now let's discuss a bit about the concept of XDR. So XDR, it's called Extended Detection Response. This word was coined, of course, by the analyst who had seen that modern security solutions were getting obsolete. Either they were running in silos, or there were solutions, who are doing some level of consolidation, but that was not enough. So you see, like in any modern enterprise, there are different solutions in different layers, all the way from the endpoint. So we have endpoint security, EDR solutions. For network side, we might have any kind of NDR packet sniffing solution, and similarly we have UEBA, threat intelligence. So there are all these different solutions which people usually implement in the network, and most of the times they're not correlated. So like normal enterprises, what they would do, they would simply purchase a SIM solution which is log based, and they try to consolidate all the logs from all these different security solutions to get centralized correlation and threat detection. But then we see in most of these cases, the amount of logs that they're collecting is always limited, because the traditional SIMs are built on old database based architectures, and they cannot scale to the volumes of data that is being generated in the modern networks. So in most of the cases, we see these are the limited logs that SIMs are ingesting, and the data is not in real time. So if a threat is traversing the network in real time, we cannot know, because we're not collecting the logs. We're only collecting the logs after the incident is happening, and that's where SIMs are lacking. And even then, the correlation factor is not there, because we'll be still limiting what we are collecting. We'll be only collecting logs from very important data sources, and sometimes the most unimportant source would be the most the most important one in terms of the threat which we had missed out during this correlation or ingestion exercise. Some customers have tried to do it independently by building a modern data lake using their security operations center, but it has cost them huge amount of money. So as we see now, the modern technologies available in almost all solutions, the architectures like Hadoop, Elastic, and big data has made it easy for us to really scale the amount of scale and ingest as much data as possible into low commodity hardware and servers. And that's the concept that XDRs are also using to help customers get deeper visibility at much lower cost, and in the end increase their detection and response rates. So if we see in this slide, we're going to talk about how XDR can be integrated with SASE. So we've seen SASE has really helped customers to get visibility into the network from any endpoint, any branch network, any user who is accessing the network through their wide area network or internet or any types of connection that they might be using. So as OmniClouds, what we are doing is we have a centralized orchestration layer. So we talked about our point of presence. So we have these orchestrations across the globe in which we are helping customers to connect from anywhere, and even we have regional hubs in which we can help customers to connect through our gateways. So this centralized platform called the SDX platform helps enterprises to get centralized visibility into the network, and they can orchestrate their entire SD-WAN and secure SD-WAN network and SASE based users through a single pane of glass and get deeper visibility using the analytics layer. But then what do we do about the security logs? So that's where XDR comes into the picture. So traditionally, like I mentioned, customers were doing this using SIM solutions by ingesting logs separately. The architecture of SD-WAN and SASE has really helped consolidate and normalize the amount of data that SIMs would be collecting in the first place. That's where we have direct integration with our SD-WAN platform and XDR. So first of all, what we are doing is we're collecting all the logs that are coming from our centralized SD-WAN platform into a modern XDR-based data lake so that we can get incidents in real time, whatever is happening in the network. And since this integration is directly per tenant based at the orchestration layer, so we don't have to take logs from each and every device, which is a cumbersome activity, and most of the time it becomes very difficult for operations team to really manage it. Then on top of that, XDR gives additional functionality to ingest log sources from other threat intelligence databases so that we can correlate any logs to see if there are any malicious activity in the network. So all these things are good. Of course, technology really helps to implement all these security operation technologies and tools. But then the most important concept that comes is the people part. So you need a very intelligent team to run your network and security operations center so they can actually see if there's a threat, which is an incident being raised by the XDR solution, if it's a valid incident, whether it's something, something which hasn't been detected. So they need to really see and analyze the data in real time to take any action. So that's where a modern security operations center is built. So XDR provides the bulk of automation, and most of the time the security threats are being automated. Their security orchestration and automation tools, which actually helps create incidents automatically and reduces the bulk of load of any modern security operations center. But then an intelligent team, which includes the L1, L2, and L3, the traditional teams of a security operations center, and a threat hunting team who are looking at threats in real time, traversing the network, so that we can provide a secure enterprise by using modern technologies, that is SASE, using XDR, which is a data lake based platform, and of course an intelligent security operations team who can analyze threats in real time and give recommendations to customers and even respond to threats. That's why we call it detection and response. In the end, what is happening is that we are consolidating all the logs from our SD-WAN platform, which can include SASE, secure SD-WAN logs, and of course the edges in the branches work pretty much as firewalls. So that is the architecture of SD-WAN and SASE. And we have built this zero trust network architecture to consolidate all the logs and send it into a data lake based XDR, so which can help us to provide a very correlated set of events. We can have an operations team that can be efficient and function more efficiently because of the correlated and automated logs coming from the XDR, and we can detect incidents faster and also respond faster. Now there's a very important thing we need to understand about XDR in general and why exactly they came into the picture. So of course we have seen we are helping customers to extend their detection rates and respond faster using XDR and SASE, but then we are not stopping there. We are helping customers to get visibility across the network. Of course, SD-WAN and SASE are enforcement points at the edges, but there's a huge network lying at the LAN side within the enterprise, and we know most of the threats are emerging from within the network. So what do we do about it? Now we have different tools and silos that are providing these kind of logs. So example, most of the enterprises have EDR. Example, we have it from Microsoft. We have it from most of the leading antivirus providers. So we use some sort of EDR or the other in our enterprises, which is providing protection at the end user level. Similarly, some customers have implemented some sort of NDR tools which are sniffing traffic from the core switch or from the firewalls and generating logs again from these network sources. Then we have the traditional log collection engines. It could be like a SIM, it could be a syslog, who are collecting logs and providing some set of correlation and giving customers some level of visibility. But then when we talk about all these different logs, they're not correlated, and that's where XDR helps us to provide again a single pane of glass to consolidate and correlate all these logs. And that's where we are helping customers to close the complete visibility gap across their WAN as well as LAN networks. So ultimately, this is what we are providing, that is a single unified platform to give complete visibility, threat detection, a data lake which can ingest as many logs as possible, and of course, everything is being delivered as a service by OmniClouds. So if we look at the key takeaway from this session, of course, is SASE, which is helping customers to enforce modern security solutions at their edges, and then XDR to give the visibility, detailed visibility into the networks, which can be extended even to the LAN segments or data centers to give what we call everything detection response. So and then what is happening is that we are protecting our entire attack surface. So we have deeper visibility, we have increased performance because we are implementing a lot of automation and a lot of AI and machine learning based solutions so that the security and network operation teams can perform in a much better way, and we have more detection and responses to it. And we are also reducing the costs because we are not implementing tools in silos. It's a single consolidated solutions, and we can implement sensors from XDR which can work together to provide a unified experience and security offering to customers. That's all from my side. Thank you very much. We'll open the floor now for any questions. Hello
Hello
everyone. Thank you
everyone,
for
thank you for
joining this
joining this
webinar.
webinar. Thank you very much, Hassam. We're opening the
My name
floor
is
for any
Hassam Uddin and I'm
questions.
Director Pre-Sales. Today we are going
Today
to
we are going
talk
to
about
talk
a very
about a very
interesting
interesting
topic, which
topic,
is
which is
XDR and
XDR and
SASE
SASE,
and how it
and
can
how it
work
can
together.
work together. Sorry about that. We have opened the floor for a few questions. Hassam, we have a question. How are OmniCloud solutions unique?
So something important to understand about OmniClouds is that we are providing solutions as a service. So unlike other service providers in the market where people are offering systems solutions on capex model and capital investment, we provide solutions completely as a service. So whether we're talking about SD-WAN, uh, which is our key service offering, whether it's SASE and even XDR, which is a newly launched offering that we're providing as a security service. So we everything is that something we provide as an OpEx, and for customers who are looking for like any of these solutions, so we can tailor this, customize this, and in the end you can adopt this in a simple pay-as-you-grow model.
So Hassam, what is the main difference between XDR and SASE? Or XDR is a supporter of the SASE function?
XDR basically complements SASE. So SASE, like I've talked about, SASE mainly offers security at the edge enforcement point. So the architectures have been evolving, especially because of the adoption of cloud. So we are seeing customers now accessing cloud from everywhere, whether it's from the branch, data center, head office, or even work from home users, remote users. So we need to have enforcement point across all these different locations so customers can secure their data. Now, XDR gives deeper visibility into whatever we are detecting through SASE or any policies we are enforcing which are being implemented. So XDR gives deeper visibility into that. So it can run in isolation as well. So for customer who doesn't have SASE, they can still implement XDR and we can help them. But when we integrate, with our SASE and XDR, it becomes a very powerful solution for customers to secure their networks.
Okay, we have a question from Mahmood. Is XDR bundled with SD-WAN or SASE? if customer subscribes for SASE or as SD-WAN, will they have XDR by default or is it an add-on?
Okay, good question. So, Mahmoud, currently we are selling XDR as an add-on service. So even SASE is an add-on service. So we have different flavors. So we start with SD-WAN, and we can provide basic connectivity over SD-WAN. So then, if you want to add security on your SD-WAN solution, we provide SASE offerings, secure SD-WAN and SASE offerings. And XDR is an add-on. If you would like to have additional security enforcement, you can have XDR as an add-on.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. So you can have your SD-WAN solution, then you can add SASE to it, and then you can add XDR.
That's
So
correct.
can you do SD-WAN and XDR and SD-WAN and SASE? So any combination is possible.
Combinations can work definitely.
So which combination is the most secure and which combination is the least expensive?
So of course, customers are only looking for just connectivity, connecting their branches or users. So SD-WAN is the most basic offering that we are providing, and customers can simply start using SD-WAN with simple connectivity solutions that we have. But if they would like to secure, then of course adding the SASEs and the XDR will give them the full pro security, and that's where a lot of secure organizations, example banks or government entities, are going for. So if there are any requirements to have end-to-end security, then we have to go for the full offering.
Okay, so you would recommend for banking institutions, government organizations, non-profits, anybody who has very sensitive, every company has sensitive information, but very sensitive is to have a combination of SASE and XDR. But for an SME, do you think an XDR is essential or they can make do with a SASE?
So for SMEs, they would be probably having remote users, work from home users, or maybe small branches. For them, the best solution is go with SASE, because SASE is a cloud delivered security. So they don't have to invest much in building the platforms or maybe connecting the data center locations. So most of the services are also hosted on the cloud. So they can have this cloud delivered security using SASE, which will make their life much easier, and it's quite cheaper as well for them to avail this service.
Okay, again from Mahmoud, do you have SLA for XDR service? For example, if there is a security breach, how do you compensate the customer on the breach? Where is your XDR center located?
Okay, good question, Mahmood. So of course, it's SLA driven service. So we have SLAs for both our SD-WAN and as well as XDR service. So because it's like a tailored security offering in which we provide response times and resolutions times to customers. Of course, the compensation or the service credits depend on the types of agreement we sign with different customers. It all depends. The more stricter the agreements or the requirements of the customer. So the SLAs vary accordingly, but then the most basic SLA, even that covers the instant and response times, and also the resolution times. Our XDR is currently located in our UAE data centers, and we are expanding, and we are open to looking at implementing in any specific geography as well.
Yeah, so Mahmoud, I would like to expand on what our pre-sales director Hassam has said. So we do have POPs in various locations. We do look at the MENA region. So we're very open to discussion with any client on a global scale and see how we can implement the XDR or SASE solution for them. So we have another question. Does the XDR require any platform for integration?
Not really. So it's a pre-integrated solution. When we talk about SASE, when we're integrating with SASE, but yes, if let's say we are implementing this as a greenfield, as a standalone offering, so we have to integrate with the existing platform customers are using. Example, they're using a firewall or they're using any existing antivirus solution, or even if they have an existing SIM, we can integrate the XDR with these kind of platforms and provide a comprehensive solution. But important thing is XDR makes this integration very simple. Like I talked about earlier in the webinar, that the traditional solutions are very complex to integrate, but XDR makes this very simple.
Okay, so I want to know, with the COVID pandemic happening, you see more increase for SASE or for XDR, or people are still not that familiar with XDR?
Okay, so what we are seeing now is, especially because of the pandemic, so there's a huge demand for customers to start outsourcing their services, and that's the new consumption model I talked about. So what customers are doing, even for having cloud services, cloud delivered security, or even outsourcing their complete security. Uh, Organizations are moving towards an outsource model. So that's where XDR is coming into the picture, because it offers a comprehensive security offering. So it can have multiple enforcement points right from the network, endpoint, edge using SASE. So we can secure every layer of the network, and everything is cloud delivered. Everything is OPEX based. Everything is provided as a managed service. So they don't have to invest in internal security resources, which is very difficult to, first of all, keep, hire, and maintain, and also it's very costly. So we are simplifying the whole concept of security services.
Okay. Is your XDR for detection, or do you also respond and implement the required actions?
Yes. So we have both offerings. So of course, the basic offering is we detect and we provide response. We provide the response. Like example, for some customers, depending on the types of response agreements we have signed with them. Example, we detect and we tell the remediation action to the customer, so they will be taking care of any changes in the network. Or if it's a complete managed services offering, which is a premium offering, what we can do is we can detect as well as we can respond. So example, we can even, let's say we need to block a firewall port, we need to quarantine a user, so we can provide this remediation service as well. That's where detection and response, that's what we are saying.
Okay, Hassan, thank you very much. I would request all our attendees to send their questions to marketing at omniclouds.com. We will also have this recording on our YouTube page. You can just go to YouTube and type OmniClouds, and you'll be able to find this recording. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you for on 20th Feb for the next webinar.